Let's start with the truth. Every man you've ever been with has a secret, and most of them will never admit it. The secret is that while men act like they're simple and predictable when it comes to sex, there are certain areas of their bodies that they secretly crave attention to, areas they fantasize about but never ask for. One of those areas is his balls. Yes, you heard me right. The place most women ignore, most men pretend doesn't matter, is actually one of the most powerful pleasure zones he has. And here's the kicker: when you learn how to touch him there, not with hesitation, but with confidence, not with routine, but with playful curiosity, you can make him feel things he didn't even think were possible. You can make him lose control, surrender, and see you as the woman who finally unlocked a part of him he thought was off limits. Now, let me tell you why this is so important. Men walk around with an image they project to the world: strong, controlled, put together. But behind closed doors, especially in intimacy, what they crave is the exact opposite. They want to feel vulnerable, to let go, to lose themselves in your touch. And the balls, as funny or strange as it may sound, are a direct gateway to that kind of surrender, because that part of him is delicate, sensitive, and tied to his sense of masculinity in a way most people never talk about. When you take that part of him into your hands with care, confidence, and a little bit of daring playfulness, you're not just giving him pleasure. You're telling him, you can trust me here, you can let go with me, and that feeling will make him crave you more than you can imagine. But here's the mistake most women make. They either avoid his balls altogether because they're afraid of hurting him, or they treat them like a side dish, something extra, instead of making them part of the main experience. And that's where the magic is lost, because his balls are not an afterthought, that they are a powerful pleasure spot on their own. Touching them right can send shivers through his entire body, heighten every sensation, and turn an ordinary intimate moment into something unforgettable. And the best part, most men never experience this level of attention, which means when you give it to him, you instantly stand out. So let me lay the foundation here. Massaging his balls is not just a physical act, it's a psychological one. When you do it, you're telling him you're bold enough to go places others won't, confident enough to explore without hesitation, and tuned in enough to read his reactions and adjust in real time. It's about sensitivity, yes, but it's also about presence. It's about being right there with him, watching his breath, noticing the way his body shifts, the way his face changes. Because if you do it without presence, if you just go through the motions, he'll know. But if you do it with full attention, full desire, he'll never forget it. Think about it like this. Every touch you give him is like a conversation. If you touch him with hesitation, it says, I'm not sure I should be doing this. If you touch him too aggressively, it says, I don't care about your sensitivity. But when you find that balance, firm yet gentle, playful yet caring, it says, I know how to take care of you. I know how to drive you wild, and I know how to make you feel safe while I do it. That is the conversation he secretly wants you to have with his body. And that's what makes him addicted to you. So in this first part, I want you to understand this. The reason ball massage makes men go crazy isn't just because it feels good physically. It's because it touches something deeper in him. It makes him feel vulnerable, desired, and completely undone in your hands. And once a man feels that with you, he won't be able to look at intimacy with anyone else the same way again. You will have set the standard. You will have created the memory that lingers in his mind long after the moment is over. And that, my friend, is the beginning of making him truly, deeply, and helplessly addicted to your touch. Now, here's where things get exciting. Once you understand the importance of this hidden spot, the next step is learning how to actually touch him in a way that doesn't just feel good but blows his mind. And before we go any further, let me say this. It's not about complicated techniques or memorizing a routine. It's about mindset, presence, and the way you connect your touch to his emotions. Men don't just want to be handled. They want to feel like you're reading them, adapting to them, and deliberately teasing out their surrender. That's where the power lies. The first thing to remember is sensitivity. His balls are one of the most sensitive areas of his entire body, covered with nerve endings and thinner skin, which means every movement is amplified. A light touch can make him jolt, a firm squeeze can make him gasp, and the wrong pressure can ruin the mood completely. So you have to approach them like a violin. You don't slam down on the strings. You finesse them. You let your fingers adapt to the tension. You test the pressure. You feel the vibrations. Start slow. Rest your hand gently at first. Let him feel the warmth of your palm. That initial stillness is powerful because it signals calm, safety, and confidence. Then, little by little, introduce motion, slow circular movements, gentle rolling between your fingers, light squeezes. All the while, watch his breath, feel his body language. If he leans into it, you know you're on the right track. If he tenses, adjust. That ability to read him makes you not just good, it makes you unforgettable. The second key is rhythm and variation. You can't just move your hand up and down mindlessly. Men get used to patterns quickly, and when they know exactly what's coming next, their brain disengages. What keeps them locked in is unpredictability. So mix it up. Alternate between slow strokes and quicker ones, between holding both in your palm and teasing one at a time. Switch from soft touches with your fingertips to firmer cupping with your whole hand. Play with tempo, draw it out for a few seconds, then surprise him with quicker motions. Imagine you're composing music. Every touch is a note, every shift in rhythm builds the song, and the climax comes when he's so lost in the unpredictable melody of your touch that his mind just can't take it anymore. That's when you've got him spiraling. Third, integration. His balls are not an isolated part of his body. They're connected to his entire sexual experience. And when you make them part of the bigger picture, that's when the real magic happens. Don't just focus down there like it's a chore. Combine your ball play with other touches. Maybe your other hand is stroking him. Maybe your lips exploring his chest. Maybe you're whispering into his ear while you work your hand below. That layering effect is insanely powerful because his brain isn't processing just one sensation. It's being overloaded with multiple points of pleasure at the same time. And when his nervous system can't keep up, that's when he starts shaking, moaning uncontrollably, completely losing the ability to hold himself back. That's how you break his self-control. But here's where we get to the psychological part, the fourth key, which is dominance. When you take his balls in your hands, whether you realize it or not, you're holding his most vulnerable spot. It's delicate, it's exposed, and it's tied to his manhood in a way he may never say out loud. When you take control of that with confidence, not timidly, not apologetically, but with the certainty that you know what you're doing, you flip a switch in his brain. Suddenly, he's not the one in control anymore, you are. And that realization does two things. It humbles him and excites him at the same time. It makes him feel like he can finally let go because you've taken over, you've got him, and he knows it. That psychological surrender is just as powerful, if not more, than the physical pleasure. For a man, being able to lose himself in your hands like that is intoxicating. It bonds him to you because you become the person he feels safe to collapse into. And finally, emotional presence. The fifth key, this one matters more than all the techniques combined. Because if you're not really there with him, if your mind is somewhere else, he'll know. Men are not as oblivious as they sometimes act. They can feel when you're disconnected, when you're going through the motions, but they can also feel when you're fully present, when your eyes are locked on his reactions, when your breathing syncs with his, when you're smiling as you tease him, enjoying his pleasure as much as he is. That's when your touch becomes electric. That's when it stops being just a massage and becomes an intimate conversation between your hands and his body. That's what makes him feel not just physically stimulated, but deeply desired. And trust me, when a man feels desired, when he feels like you're just as turned on by his surrender as he is, that's when you leave a permanent mark on him. Let me paint a picture for you. He's lying there, you're in control, and your hands are moving with precision. You've set the pace, you're varying the rhythm, you're integrating kisses and whispers, and the whole time your eyes are locked on his face, reading every twitch, every gasp, every shift in his breath. He's gripping the sheets. His chest is rising and falling faster. His eyes are closing and opening like he can't believe what's happening to him. And in that moment, you own him. He is completely in your world, and the only thing he can think about is how you've taken him to a place he didn't even know existed. That is the power of learning how to massage his balls the right way. Most women never do this. They shy away, they assume it's too risky, or they don't realize how much it matters, which is exactly why when you do it, you stand out in his life. You become the woman who wasn't afraid to go deeper, to explore more, to take control in a way that gave him both pleasure and safety. That memory stays with him forever. And that's why he'll crave you even when you're not there. He won't be able to stop thinking about the way you touched him, the way you owned his pleasure, the way you made him feel like no one else ever has. And here's the beautiful thing, you don't need to be perfect You don't need to memorize every movement, because the truth is, he doesn't want a perfect routine. He wants to feel you experimenting, exploring, learning his body like it's your favorite subject. Men secretly crave that sense that you're discovering new ways to make them feel alive. So when you take time with his balls, when you linger there, when you smile at the way his body twitches and his breath catches, it shows him that you're not rushing, you're savoring him. That in itself is a turn on beyond words, because every man wants to feel like he's not just something you're doing for him, something you're enjoying with him. The advanced level of this is adding layers of tease. You don't just massage his balls steadily, you use them to control his arousal like a dial. Maybe you slow down just as he starts to get lost in it, pulling him back, watching his frustration turn into deeper hunger. Maybe you switch between focusing only on his balls and then ignoring them completely for a moment, making him wonder when you'll come back. That unpredictability drives him insane. It tells him you're not just reacting, you're leading. And men may never admit it out loud, but they love when a woman takes the lead in bed, when she makes them feel like they're the ones being pursued, being undone, being played with like an instrument. That's the role reversal that makes intimacy electric. Another powerful element is using your mouth. Now, this isn't about jumping into something extreme. It's about being intentional. When you combine a warm, wet sensation with the delicate skin of his balls, you activate a whole new level of sensitivity. Even the lightest lick, the gentlest kiss can make his legs tremble. And if you combine that with your hands working in sync, the overload of sensation will make him lose track of where he is. He'll forget the room, the time, everything but the way you're making him feel. But remember, it's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about savoring every second of the journey, letting him climb higher and higher until he's begging you not to stop. That's when you know you've truly mastered this. And it doesn't stop with just technique. What makes him crave you more than anyone else isn't just the way you touched him, it's the emotional imprint you leave behind. Because after he comes down from that high, after he's lying there panting, completely undone, what he'll feel most is the intimacy you created. He'll look at you and realize you didn't just touch his body. You touched his trust. You touched his masculinity in a way that made him feel celebrated, adored, worshipped even. That afterglow is what bonds him to you. It's what makes him look at you and think, no one else has ever made me feel this way. And that thought will stay with him long after the night is over. Think about how powerful that is. Most women believe men only want release, that they're simple creatures who don't care about the details. But that's not true. Men crave connection too. They may not always say it, they may not even know how to express it, but they want to feel like intimacy is more than just an act, it's an experience. And when you give him that experience through something as overlooked as massaging his balls, you're telling him, I see you, I understand you, I want to take care of all of you. That message goes straight to his heart. And here's where I'll challenge you. Don't just think of this as a trick to make him orgasm harder. Think of it as a way to deepen the bond between you. Every time you go there, every time you take control of that vulnerable spot and show him how much you enjoy it, you're building intimacy. You're creating memories that he'll replay in his head for days, weeks, even years. You're giving him a reason to choose you again and again, not just because of what you did, but because of how you made him feel about himself in that moment. Powerful and vulnerable, masculine and surrendered all at once. That paradox is addictive. So here's what I want you to remember. His balls are not an afterthought. They are not something to be avoided or rushed past. They are a key, a hidden doorway into a side of him that most people never see. And when you're the one who dares to go there, who explores with confidence, care, and desire, you become unforgettable. You become the woman who made him lose control, the woman who made him feel worshipped, the woman who made him crave more. And that, my friend, is a power worth claiming. Now imagine this in your relationship. Imagine not just doing this once, but weaving it into your intimate life regularly, using it to surprise him, to tease him, to reset the passion when things feel routine. Imagine being the woman who knows exactly how to take him from composed to undone in minutes. The woman who can make him drop all of his walls with just the touch of her hand. That's the kind of intimacy that doesn't fade. That's the kind of intimacy that makes a man never want to let you go. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about technique. It's about daring to go deeper, daring to give more, daring to explore the places that scare other people. That's what creates extraordinary intimacy. That's what separates an ordinary connection from one he remembers for the rest of his life. And when you step into that role, when you're willing to massage his balls, not just with your hands, but with your confidence, your presence, and your love, you'll see it in his eyes, you'll hear it in his voice, you'll feel it in the way he clings to you after, you'll know you've given him something priceless. And that's when you'll realize the real secret. You weren't just massaging his balls, you were massaging his soul. And let me tell you this, the real magic isn't just in the physical act. The magic is in how it transforms the way he sees you outside the bedroom too. Because when you're the woman who's willing to explore, who's confident enough to take something delicate and make it powerful, he doesn't just feel that in the moment. He carries it into the way he thinks about you during the day. He's at work, he's sitting in a meeting, he's scrolling on his phone, and suddenly he remembers the way you looked at him when you had him completely undone in your hands. He remembers the way you smirked when he begged you not to stop. And instantly his body reacts. You become the thought that distracts him, the craving he can't get rid of, the standard by which he measures every other moment of intimacy. That's what so few people understand. Real intimacy isn't about what happens in the moment, it's about the echo it leaves behind. When you massage his balls the right way, when you turn that overlooked part of him into the source of his deepest release, you're not just giving him pleasure, you're embedding yourself into his nervous system, into his memory, into his fantasies. You become his addiction because the high you gave him is something his body and mind will keep chasing. And that's exactly why you don't need to be afraid of going there. Because it's not just about sex, it's about impact. And let's talk about the psychological side a little deeper. For a lot of men, this spot carries a strange mix of pride and vulnerability. They know it's sensitive, they know it's exposed, and sometimes they feel protective of it, which means when you take it into your hands, when you show him that you know exactly what to do, that you're not afraid, it cuts right through his defenses. It says to him, I see your most fragile part, and instead of hurting it, I'm cherishing it, I'm celebrating it. That experience builds trust. It creates a bond that says you can handle all of him, not just the strong, confident side he shows the world, but also the soft, delicate, hidden parts he rarely lets anyone touch. That's intimacy on a soul level. And do you know what happens when a man feels that kind of safety with you? He opens up, not just in bed, but in life. Suddenly, he's more affectionate, more emotionally present, more willing to share what's on his heart, because you've shown him in the most primal way possible that you can hold his vulnerability without judgment. And once a man feels that, he can't go back. He doesn't want to keep walls up with you. He wants to lean in. He wants to give you everything. That's the real power of mastering this. It's not about a quick orgasm. It's about unlocking parts of him that most women never get access to. Now picture this, you're not even in the bedroom. You're out at dinner or walking down the street or sitting next to him at a family event. And suddenly he looks at you differently. There's this little smile, this flicker in his eyes because he remembers the night before when you had him gasping your name, when you had him gripping the sheets, when you had him completely lost in your touch. That memory colors the way he sees you, and it makes every ordinary moment between you charged with hidden electricity. That's how passion stays alive in a relationship. It's not about big gestures, it's about those small secret memories you create together. And learning how to massage his balls in a way that makes him lose control. That's one of those memories. So don't underestimate this. Don't dismiss it as something small or silly, because to him it's not. To him, it's one of the most intimate, powerful, erotic experiences you can give. And when you step into it with confidence, with curiosity, with love, you're giving him more than pleasure. You're giving him a reason to keep choosing you, to keep chasing you, to keep investing in the fire between you. That's what makes you unforgettable. And maybe you're wondering, what if I do it wrong? What if he doesn't like it? Let me give you some reassurance here. The very fact that you're trying, the very fact that you're brave enough to go there already puts you in a category of your own. Men don't expect perfection. What they crave is effort, attention, and a willingness to experiment. And when you do that, when you communicate with him, when you check in with his body language and adjust as you go, he'll love it. Because it's not just about the technique. It's about the message you're sending. I care about your pleasure. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to explore you. That's what blows him away. So the next time you're in bed together, I want you to remember this. Don't hesitate. Don't hold back. Don't overthink it. Take control, take your time, and let your confidence lead the way. Because when you do, you won't just give him the orgasm of his life, you'll give him something even more powerful, the feeling of being seen, being cherished, and being desired in a way that very few men ever get to experience. And that, more than anything else, is what will keep him coming back for more.